Donald Trump has signed an executive order directing the United States government to rename its portion of Lake Ontario as Lake America. But there's an interesting piece of history behind the name he wants to replace, because Ontario is much older than either modern Canada or the United States. The name Ontario has Indigenous origins, coming from Iroquoian languages spoken in the region. Historical interpretations include Lake of Shining Waters, beautiful lake and great body of water. European records were using versions of the name as far back as the 1640s, with Lake Ontario appearing on maps during the 17th century. That means the name was already in use more than a century before the United States declared independence in 1776. And contrary to what you might assume, the lake wasn't named after the Canadian province, it was the other way around. The province of Ontario, created in 1867, ultimately took its name from the lake that had already carried the name for more than 2 centuries. Lake Ontario is one of the 5 Great Lakes and forms part of the international border between the United States and Canada, with New York State on its southern and eastern shores and Ontario on its northern and western shores. The Trump's executive order applies to American federal usage and directs US agencies to refer to the American portion as Lake America. That does not mean Canada has renamed its portion of the lake, and Canada is under no obligation to recognize the new American name. So while Lake America may now appear on official US government documents and maps, across the border, Canadians can continue calling it what people in the region have called it, in one form or another, for hundreds of years, Lake Ontario. For straightforward news updates without the hype, follow Steve Rowland News.